So, welcome everyone. You are watching Social Chatter, your weekly social media marketing talk show. My name is Christian Kirasevich. I'm the CEO and founder of Social Chefs. We put on this show every single week. We gave Nick the night off. So Nick's got the night off. He might pop up in the comments though, because he enjoys doing the show a lot, and we can't keep him away. So Nick will probably pop up in the comments. But filling in for Nick tonight, we have a past guest, actually, Joe Wilson. Joe Wilson is going to be helping us tonight. He's going to be co-hosting. And we also have a great guest. We have Helen Blunden. And Helen, hopefully I'm saying your name correctly, but I'm going to let Joe introduce you. So I'm going to say a quick hello to everyone. How's everyone doing? If you all can do us a huge favor, by the way, we do this show. It's not just for us. We do this for you, the business owner. We want to help you capitalize on the power that social media marketing can have on your business. And what we do is we bring the latest news and tools to you every single week, so you don't have to go try to search for them. You don't have to figure out, well, hey, how is this useful for my business? What we're gonna, what we'd appreciate if you did this is there's a share button or there's a comment option. If you click on either of those, if you click on the share button, share it out, tag a friend, so type the @ sign and then the person's name. Or if you want to, you can just put their name in the comments and type their name, and then they'll get notified as well. We would really appreciate that. That helps us bring in more viewers, and it helps us also make sure we're reaching the right people. With that, I'm going to bring Joe on. Joe, it's really good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Christian. Welcome. Thanks for welcoming me to Social Chefs. And welcome Helen Blunden, who I know I could be saying that. It's Helen Blunden. How's the other guy? Who is a learning consultant who is in Australia. So everybody be prepared. There is an accent coming. And it's a real one. Or it's a fake one, and she does it really, really well. Helen, welcome to Social Chefs. How are you?
Thank you, Joe. Hello, everyone, and thanks for welcoming on the show. Also, a big thank you to Christian. Yeah, I'm fine.
And what is a learning consultant? And are they only in Australia? Is that an Australian thing?
No. Learning consultants are everywhere. I say that I like to help people learn fast so they can work smart. And a learning consultant, I work in the corporate area. They're usually the people who work in training departments and who are responsible for building skills and capabilities in mainly corporates. They run workshops, they do all sorts of training courses. There's a whole heap of learning consultants all around the world. I'm just one of very many people. Hopefully that explains it.
I think, the thing about all the social media stuff and business, because everything's changing, it seems like whatever you learned in college, even if you graduated 3 years ago, some of it is outdated. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I was reading somewhere that the amount of information that's online is just growing exponentially. And so what we got taught at university or in schools many years ago is probably not very relevant today, and information changes. So I guess that's one of the things that I help businesses with is how can we have our people, how can we have their employees be continually learning? Because let's face it, just the jobs are changing nowadays and we've got to be keeping up. And so I'm all for that's why I say just always learn, be prepared to be open, to challenge yourself, to learn new things, to be curious, and to be always in a position of one step ahead of the game. You might not be an expert in stuff, but at least you know your way around the land.
Hey, Helen, can you do me a favor? Yeah. What was that quote you just said a minute ago? You said you help people learn.
I help people learn fast so they could work smart. And that's the way I'm trying to explain it, especially in the corporate world. Like what's happening in the corporate world, there's a lot of change happening. And when you're in an organization, things are very slow to move because there's hierarchies and people are just getting on doing their own little job between, what's in their job description and their 9 to 5. But what's happening is customers outside of the business know a lot more about the products and services of that corporate company itself. So what I do is I just provide employees with some strategies of how to find information quickly, how to tap into networks and expertise across their business, how to find and how to collaborate with others so they could gain new insights and new perspectives, and then share their knowledge across the organisation. So it's all about, I guess it's all about social networking within a company, if you think about it. So, yes, because too often people think learning is all about sitting in a classroom and doing boring courses. It's a lot more than that. It's all about relationships. Mm-hmm. It's all about showing and sharing your work, having conversation, coming up with new ideas, being free to try them out. Whether or not they're allowed to do that in the company, though, companies have a whole heap of different challenges, to say the least. Culture, hierarchy, bosses, power, lack of trust.
And the person who says, but this is the way we've always done it.
Yeah, that's right.
But if we change, it'll be wrong.
That's right. So, but I'm seeing this in marketing too. I'm seeing this in all parts of different businesses. People are being challenged with how they're doing things. So, yeah, I'd like to help them and at least think of ways of how they can incorporate learning into their normal everyday life and bring, I guess, making work human again, not being a robot at work.
Because they actually have them now, so you don't need
to
do that job.
We're in competition with chatbots and robots.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing looking through all the stories for today, I'm like, this is getting a little robotish. There's a lot of roboting going on the social media. Christian, do you want to jump into the stories now?
Yeah, we could definitely do that. Yeah, I want to just check to see how the Facebook Live is going, actually, to see if we've got any, how everybody's doing over there.
Yeah, it looks like there's Colleen's all set and other people are getting it, so it looks like we're okay.
Very cool.
Sound solid, which is the most important thing.
Say that again?
The sound is so far good by some people. Colleen's still having trouble.
Okay.
As that may happen, but it doesn't look like it's everybody. So it may be a internet connection at her end.
Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and let's kick off the show then. Helen, welcome. Thanks a lot for joining us. So what we're going to do now is we're just for everybody who's if you're new to the show, we're going to basically go through each of the topics. We're going to do a little round robin style here. If you have any questions, just leave those in the comments on the live show. So if you're watching at facebook.com/social chefs, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. So let's start with the topics for this week. So the first topic I want to talk about, this actually came out from Twitter. This was announced June 13th, 2017. This was actually 2 days ago. And Twitter has rolled out a new feature for businesses that you can now add call to action buttons to drive actions in your direct messages. Now, if you're sitting there watching on the show, what you should see now is you should see an example here. This is actually from a company called Focus Films. They make movies, and they have this really neat feature where if you want to send somebody a direct message now, there are buttons you can add that will let you send customers. Basically, it's almost like one of those choose your own adventure type things. Anybody remember those books where you basically can pick a button and it will take you to a certain place? In this case, it's kind of the same way. But this is pretty awesome, actually. This feature, it's we're talking about chatbots here, and I'm really excited about these. Joe or Helen, have y'all had a chance to actually look at these or try these out?
I looked at the article. I haven't messed with any bots yet, but okay. The idea of, especially for the film, because it looks like what Focus Features is trying to do, which everyone is trying to do, is to get your customers to talk about your product so you don't have to. And with the bot, you could actually have Are we good? We could actually have automatically a conversation that would include everything from selling tickets, seeing the trailer, all that stuff, and have it done automatically. So that I am still. There's a great quote here actually from Joshua Kornbillet, who is the Senior Vice President of Digital Marketing at Focus Features. He said, Twitter provides a unique and powerful platform for us to directly engage with our core audience, and we're excited about the ability to turn that audience into an organic source of discovery for our bot. So they're trying to automate organic discovery and count on the excitement of the humans to run with it. And when it comes to movies, that is a possibility. Helen, what do you think of this?
Yeah, this is really interesting because I got onto Twitter this morning and I saw that there's a new look Twitter. They've made things round rather than square, and it looks like a cleaner interface. And this morning, a very good friend of mine, a Twitter friend, I haven't met her personally, at Amy Burville, who's an educator and teaches creativity, has recently written a book, and she DM'd me as well as a whole heap of other people and asked me to share that. And in that link was a meetup that she's organising in London. And I thought to myself, this would be brilliant to push that link out to my Twitter followers from the DM. But I couldn't do that. So I was wondering if that organising in London, because from a promotional point of view, when people are promoting their books, or if they've got a survey, if I wanted to send out a survey to my Twitter followers from a DM, it would make things a lot easier. So I actually quite like the feature, but for some reason it wasn't working on this particular link. So that's where I would have loved this feature.
Very cool. Christian, have you thought about what you would do with this? What would you do with this?
I love by the way, I will say this. I love the idea that you just came up with about doing surveys. If I were doing something like this, I mean, in the examples that they have, they got somebody taking a quiz. There's some other examples about watching a trailer, buying tickets. So one thing I like about these is that you can basically create a different tiered response. So in this case, you can have somebody take a quiz, you can have them watch a trailer, or hey, you can have them directly buy the ticket. And so if I'm a business, I think that I would like to see more businesses thinking more like strategically about what they're going to do with these sorts of things. In this case, you could send somebody, for instance, if you're going to your, if you're a small business, you could send them to maybe your latest blog post, for example.
Yeah.
You could have an option in there to connect with you on the most popular social media channel that you use as a business. In this case, you're on Twitter. It probably might be Twitter. And then also, I would like to have something in there as far as potentially directing to a product and whatnot, because that way you're not just focusing on the sale. You're actually driving people down a funnel to potentially buy a ticket. That's, I think, the key thing to think about here. If I'm looking at this movie example, they're saying take a quiz, watch the trailer, buy tickets. Well, somebody's not going to buy tickets. Chances are, if they've one, if they don't really know what the movie's about, two, they never watched the trailer, I don't think they're going to immediately say, hey, I'm going to go buy a ticket to this, unless it's something that they know about the whole, if it's a trilogy or something like that in the third part, they've seen the others.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if I'm if I'm a retail business, I'd probably have something linking to a product, and also depending on what I'm talking about, that's the other thing. I might actually want to have something that directs people to different items related to that product. So, for example, if somebody has a specific question about something and I have a very small, narrow focus on my products, I could drive you to a video about the product. I could drive you to, if you're already a customer, for instance, like give me some feedback, and then I could drive you to buy the product, for instance, if I want to. So I could kind of copy that model there. And if you look through, by the way, the example that Twitter's provided, they've got an option for tweeting about bots. So you can actually tie these into direct message cards on Twitter. You can tie them into visiting a website, and there's also some options for following accounts. So this way,
and the cool thing with the website one is that it's a native browser.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you don't leave Twitter. You're not clicking on a link going to a browser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it basically opens the browser over top of what you're doing, and then once you're in there, it can close it, and you still stay within the Twitter direct message. So that way, it's just kind of like a quick pop up, and then poof. So that's how I could actually see this being very useful for people.
I'm still questioning the movie industry, period. But 'cause they're really in trouble. Trying to get everyone's attention, and this is a great way to get everyone's attention. And I think for the superhero movies, the Marvel movies, that kind of thing, the things that get people talking about that, but also we're all at a level of saturation. And I believe that Marvel has like a decade of these movies planned, which is it's a horrible business plan, because at some point this is not going to work anymore. But for the I think like for Netflix, for Hulu to be able to have their new series, their new original features, Amazon, they have their own movie studio, which then ends up online. I think that would be a great way to, like with Showtime, with Twin Peaks now, everyone's talking about each episode. They could have a lot more people subscribing to Showtime, I think, with this.
And by the way,
it's going to be. Oh, sorry. I was going to say it's very interesting because Joe, you offer the perspective from the movie industry, and like how you use the Netflix example. I can offer the perspective from a learning of people accessing courses and learning bites or short snippets of information, blog posts, articles, videos, podcasts, whatever it is, for their own self-education. It works the same. I think it'll work the same way. So I haven't explored the Twitter chatbot, this particular thing, but I still would love to, because in the learning field, chatbots are exactly a new feature, and people are asking how could we make it work for us, where learning comes to me in the way that I want it, when I want it, how I want it. And it's very personalised. So yeah, I look forward to exploring the feature more.
And by the way, another thing, we're talking about like different ways that you might use these. Patron Tequila. So here's a way they're using it. So what they have is, if you click into the direct message option that's there in that article, there's an option there where you can select pool, party, cookout, or mountain. And what it will do is it will give you a recipe based on the selection that you choose. So I could see these being just very useful. Again, if a business gets very creative, and if you think about it, it's not like I have to create tons of content.
No.
I just have to take something and repurpose.
Yeah. And that's happening in corporates as well. There is so much content in corporates, but people can't find stuff. So if the tools were smarter, that you could actually search where it comes to you in some way that you want it, that would save a lot of hassle.
But I also think it opens the possibilities to do a lot of really stupid marketing.
Yeah.
Just because if someone isn't using their imagination, and when they think bot and automatic, and that just, there's going to be a learning curve.
Very much so.
Absolutely. So let's keep moving here. By the way, so I think we've talked enough about Twitter's new call to action buttons to drive actions in direct messages. For those of you who have any questions on this, we just put the topic in the comments, so feel free to go check that out as well. Let's move into topic 2 for tonight.
Topic 2, we're going to Snapchat, the snapping of the chat, which everyone, all the Snapchat haters right now are all love. They just love to talk about stock prices. They don't talk. They're not investors. They're not investment people. They're not invested in it, but they love. Everyone's talking about. Oh, they lost a lot of. And granted, IPO. Welcome to the world. So what Snapchat does, which other people are already doing, but I think that it's going to be a way for them to get more advertising revenue in, is that they've set up their own, like if you ever run a Facebook ad, they have their own sort of ad manager. Mm-hmm. So you can run your ads, you can manage them, you can see all the analytics. It also has a publisher. So there's a Snap publisher that will change your horizontal images to what they should be, so it works on Snapchat, and this is, and the other thing they have is Snapchat partners. So they've given out, I think there's 25 right now, certified partners who have been able to go through and learn all the API stuff, so you can hire someone to do it, and they're certified by Snapchat. So for those companies who don't want to do it in-house, there are other people who can run all this stuff for you, and they are not Snapchat, but they're certified by Snapchat. So it really, I think for the solopreneur or even a social media mildly heavy hitter who wants to at least try this, I have no idea what the prices are for all this, and like everything, it's going to depend on how big it is and how long it is and all of that. But you can pay for the campaign through the ad manager, set it up, do absolutely everything, and then it gives you a dashboard to track it. I can definitely see, because I am not convinced that everyone's going to kick Snapchat's butt, which is the other thing that everybody loves to talk about. Everybody's killing everybody. Facebook is killing Snapchat. Snapchat is killing this. And what about Instagram killing WhatsApp? And what? But they're all the same company. Oh, it's just it's like armchair CEOing. And when you're talking about, because they revealed that so Snapchat had 149 million in revenue. They're supposed to have 158 million revenue, and so they lost 2.2 billion dollars in the first quarter compared to losing only 104 million the same quarter last year.
Hey, but guess what? But off of that, Joe, see, the problem with that is that everybody said, they look at the numbers and say, hey, Snapchat lost a ton of money. But guess what? Snapchat didn't lose a ton of money. They lost a lot of money because they went public. And a lot of that that loss there was tied to stock options based on the IPO. So it wasn't like, hey, they lost a bunch of money because it's a bad company. It's not a bad company.
Right, but that is not the way investors talk about them. They like to talk about death and murder and destruction.
Yeah.
So in that regard, because all of this is a term from the 90s, vaporware. Values of a company are based on emotion, innuendo, rumor, perceived value, and whenever you go IPO, that is what you're riding on. You're riding on the future. And if you are a company like Snapchat who has a bunch of VCs who are like, hey, we're looking for the 24%. Do you have it yet? No? Okay, we're going to shut this thing down. Christian, what do you think someone could run with this?
So overall, so as far as the topics, I think that I think the big topic actually off of this isn't just the fact that like Snapchat has an ads manager coming out. I think the part that interests me the most is the fact that you can create your own vertical videos. Because if you look at the way all the other channels are really doing things, and I'm going to pull everybody up here. So if you look at the way channels are doing things, what is Facebook doing, for instance, right now? Like, yeah, they're giving you all these tools. They're saying, hey, you can run ads. But in Snapchat, hey, they're coming out with Ads Manager. Hey, you can run your own ads. But with the vertical video feature, I think they're actually going to, in a way, leapfrog Facebook, just temporarily probably, because they're now going to let the average person who has no idea how to create vertical videos, aside from just taking them on their phone, how to do really cool things with it, to tie into their motion feature that's in there, a lot of cool stuff, to make your videos really enticing. I think that that's going to actually be a big play there, because they're going to give people access to this tool, which is going to be different from what Facebook offers. Because Facebook says, hey, BYOC, bring your own creative. In Snapchat's case, they're giving you the tools and saying, hey, like that. And that's the one thing that has always fascinated me with this. We talked about this months ago when they brought in the ability to do motion tracking. I mentioned like before, I do a fair amount of video editing. Motion tracking is something that, you usually have to have expensive software with it. It's basically something that, like, if I move my hand, whatever it is that's on my hand follows my hand. Typically you have to have expensive software. Snapchat is bringing that into their app, not costing anybody a thing to do. And so in this case, it's lowering that bar for anybody to be able to create really good content. So it's going to come back to, like, I think what you have in your Twitter bio, actually, Joe, which is storytelling. Being able to tell a really great story and have a strong visual to go along with it.
I agree. Helen, what do you think of the Snapchat ad game?
Well, to tell you the truth, I know zip about about Snapchat ads. Um, oh, what's happened there? Did you hear that?
That was a Helen remix. Helen remix.
Oh, look, I don't know much about, in fact, I don't know anything about Snapchat ads because I find it hard to even explain Snapchat to my peers, let alone explaining Snapchat ads. So for me, it's all about if Snapchat provides any, I guess, method to make it easier for their people to use, their platform to make ads or to create content in any way, to share their story, then go for it. I'm not much looking into, the investment sides. That's something that I obviously that's just not my area of expertise. I'm always looking at how can the tool be used to create the story, to share the employee voice, to show and share your work, and if they're making that easier for people as well, whether that's creating ads or not, good on them.
Got it. Very cool. Krishna, are you there?
I'm still here. My video froze for some reason, but yeah, I'm still here.
Apparently may have had a...
It's frozen.
Yeah, it says Joanne Kroll is pointing out he's really good at frozen snaps. Well, I know what the next story is, so we'll go to the next story, and eventually Christian will unfreeze or thaw, as they say in Detroit. Well, actually, I'm going to jump ahead one story because I need him for the next one. So we're going to go with the animated GIF story. Did you know that the GIF or the GIF? It's a GIF. It's graphic, so it should be GIF. It's 30 years old.
Is it? I always wondered whether it's a GIF or a GIF. I don't know, but here in Australia, GIF is a product that cleans bathroom. So every time I think of GIF, I think of that creamy bathroom cleaner. So I call it GIF. GIF.
And we also have GIF here, the peanut butter, but it's spelled J-I-F.
J-I-F. Yeah, that's our bathroom cleanser.
Oh, exactly. J-I-F here is peanut butter. Never heard of a cleaner called GIF.
So hang on, let me think. So a GIF? Did you say a GIF is 30 years old?
Yeah, it's this article, and this is from Facebook's newsroom site. It says on June 15th, we're celebrating the 30th anniversary of the GIF, which has made community of the internet more joyful. And also, like, when people don't have any imagination, you can just click on a GIF and then feel like you did something.
I had no idea it's so old. Has it?
Well, I think also it's I'm guessing part of this is its existence, but in terms of its actual use or anything else, that part I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but one thing with Facebook is that it hasn't been GIF friendly at all.
That's right.
And now you can, you can upload GIFs now, but now you can do it in the comments. So you can express your like or dislike without typing words. You just type what I don't like, and then there will be a baby crying, and I'm not having any fun. I think it's good for everybody. They also, there's an interesting thing that Giphy Studios have created 20 GIFs featuring some of the internet's most recognizable faces, including Logan Paul, Amanda Cerny, Dreezy, Patrick Starr, Violet Benson. Was good? Yes, he was, or she, as the case may be. Brandy Murray and Landon Moss. Again, as you can tell by my sarcasm, I am not a pro GIF, but I can definitely see the advantage of it, and I think if you were a company, my thinking is you're not going to start making a lot of GIFs that are for your products, that kind of thing. I think it's more along the lines that you're going to be communicating with your customers using them, and likewise. What do you think, Helen? What do you think of the...
I don't know. I've realised I've had a lot of Facebook messages in the last few days with the GIFs, and I went, oh my God, okay, we can do this. personally, I use them because it's just another way of expressing, rather than saying I don't like this, you show a picture and it's animated. And part of me, I wonder though, Joe, do you think it's all about trying to grab attention and, I don't know, is it too hard to actually write down, text, I don't like this, as opposed to having some baby with an ice cream, I just don't know. But I do
think
realise
some of that's generational though too, because
possibly,
the kids, I don't know, whatever generation is completely changing the world now, they can talk in icons, so with emojis and the like. I think it's it's part cultural, it's part shorthand, it is more entertaining than words, it's visual, which is definitely more the case now. So I think it is part of the evolving social media culture, and something that was really much more, I don't know, it always seemed like the people who were a little more hardcore into social media were playing with them, and now it seems like everybody is, and you can make your own. It's easy, very easy. So a company could do that, but I don't know. I just don't know how long it's going to be interesting.
Like, exactly, until you get to a point where you're just phased out because there's so many. It's just like watching the Facebook feed that everyone's using the coloured boxes to create the text now,
Yes.
and all my feed's just filled with coloured boxes. So you kind of start to switch up from that. The way I've used GIFs in the past, especially in the corporate scene, I've just within corporates, we've got what's known as enterprise social networks, which are, like Facebook for Business or whatever, where there's the Microsoft product like Yammer. I have used GIFs in the enterprise, but I've made sure that it was in line with the spirit of my message. So, if it was a serious topic, I wouldn't attach something on it. So I know, maybe I should have, but the thing is, it always got more reaction.
We're sorry, we're laying you off. Here's a funny gift.
More likes, more replies, and I thought, well, maybe people are starving for some interest in their company social networks. So I think in moderation it may help. I don't know.
By the way, Joe, can you guys hear me? Joe?
Apparently Christian is frozen.
But
Frozen.
And he can't speak with us.
you can't hear me at all, huh?
In that case, I think that he would have a lot of good ideas for this.
I think so too. Yeah.
I mean, I think you could. I don't know when GIFs as advertising marketing become technically problematic or counterproductive. I think it really it's more for the fun, both in Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and on Facebook itself. I think it's more for the fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's jump to where are we going? Let's go to the fifth story, which I know we're still skipping one. I know one to go back. This is kind of interesting. Actually, this is really interesting. Looking, if Christian puts the video up for this or the link in the comments, go and look at the video, because what Canva and Facebook have done is they have put together templates that are designed specifically for Facebook. And what is amazing about them is that they're preloaded. They're it's a form essentially that you are just dropping your content into. But what you can do with that content is really incredible, because you can have a carousel pop out of the Facebook ad with additional images. You can have shopping. So if you have your main image, if someone clicks on the main image, then a sort of a second browser almost opens up inside the window and then gives you more. So they never leave Facebook. They're not going to a website, but they're getting even more information, most of it visual, put in front of them. And I looked at this thing, I'm like, this is really smart, because it is done for you. At least that's the way it appears to me. And I think there's enough variables within the template that you could do some I think it's just a great idea. And again, for the business owners who want to do their own stuff, I use Canva all the time. It's great. I think the other, I'm sorry, Canvas ads. The other thing with I've lost it. Oh, they have brands that are buying Facebook ads through Facebook's self-serving ad buying tool, Ad Manager. So you're going into Ad Manager, you're using Canvas templates, and then do you want to sell? Do you want to, give people more information and look? If they click on one image, then a carousel of other images comes up, and I think that really is. I think the problem, not only the challenges of using Facebook Manager for someone who's not familiar with it, or Ad Manager rather, having this in play at least will make your ads a whole lot more interesting. That's my take. Helen, what's your take on this one?
It's interesting because while you were talking, I'm always thinking learning, training, education. What are the applications? I don't think marketing, advertising in that way. So I'm always thinking in the context of what I know. And while you were talking, I was thinking, okay, Facebook for business. I know Facebook is trying to get into the corporate world, and they've got their Facebook for business basically, which is exactly the same. Although I haven't played around with it, my assumption is it will have similar functionality to the Facebook that we know. So their intention, I believe, is given that it's a tool that many of us know how to use, and I'm wondering if this stuff would actually be in Facebook for business, because who are they advertising? If it's within a company, what are they advertising? Are they advertising projects that are happening within the business? Are they advertising jobs that are going within the business? So I don't know. What I guess I'm saying is there's a lot of assumptions there. In my context, in my world, I'd be thinking, where does this apply? How can it apply? Would it be available in Facebook for business? Because I would definitely see an application where a company might have or might want to promote the various projects that are happening across their different business units. They might want to promote the people and their knowledge, their skills, their expertise across the business. They might want to promote different customer products and services and get a conversation happening with their other employees around that. So it's not actually pushing advertising to an external customer, but pushing the products, the services, the projects, the good work that employees are doing within a company. But I don't know if they've gone, if this is also applied within Facebook for Business. So, I would definitely see an application for this.
To me, it definitely looks like a get new customer kind of a thing. Definitely a marketing kind of a thing, because it's front facing on Facebook. But to have the ability to have in one ad video and still images, and then be able to, so if you hover over one thing, you will get the carousel, you will get the additional videos, you will get prices. All those are possibilities, and that I just think to make a really good looking ad with what you already have for you already have all your product pictures, you already have all the stuff that you've done, to be able to just drop it into this and have it all in one place where it's not all, so because normally what happens is you post one thing, so you're either posting a video, you're posting an image. So if you can post a video, then somebody hovers over it, and then it turns into a carousel, then it turns into other videos. I think that is just so much more interesting, and because it's, I mean, to me, it looks a little plug and play-ish.
Yeah, and that's why. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, well, how would this be applied in a business? So, say for example, if you're in an insurance business, if you had an insurance expert talk about a new product or a new service that they've developed inside the company, you can have pictures of it. You can have links to the what that product is about. You can have a video of that person talking about it. So in actual fact, you're actually creating a learning piece that could be promoted across the company. But I don't think Facebook has actually considered it that way, because they're thinking about making money. They're thinking about adverts. I'm actually thinking
they're thinking about killing Snapchat.
Technology be used within the company for sharing and promoting projects, for the employees as well, to learn about their own products and services, so then they're more comfortable in promoting that to customers.
Yeah, I think so. Christian, are you?
I actually,
possibly...
I'm here. Yeah.
I don't hear him, but I see the images moving around, so I guess he's there. He's there. He's somewhere. Let's move on to the next story. Facebook brings value metrics to campaigns to help advertisers target the best customers. Again, I've only run a handful of ads on Facebook. It is a lot easier to get, at least in my experience, to get likes, that kind of thing. It's a little harder, as always, to get people to spend actual money. But the cool thing with this is that it uses the pixel setup, and it can track, according to this information, instead of relying on conversions, clicks, impressions, or installs to power Facebook campaigns, advertisers can now target by value. So they can let you know if the likelihood of a customer spending money based on the information they have, that then you can use what they're calling a value optimization to begin, that rolls out today. So in other words, it would, I guess, be another, because if you look under the hood of Facebook and all the information that is available when you run an ad, it's scary. So to have something that is going to let you know, like, who's actually going to spend money, they fit everything, but are they spending money? And I think that's it says Facebook will, so your target is made possible by the Facebook pixel and the purchase values that are sent back to Facebook. Facebook will then take that data and estimate just how much a person may spend with you over a 7-day period. The new targeting will then adjust your bid automatically to cater to these more valuable folks. So it strikes me as even more targeted advertising that is basing it obviously on some kind of interaction. So if you're setting off the Facebook pixel and bouncing information back and forth, they're able to let you know, hey, this person might blow some cash. Helen, now this looks like nothing marketing to me.
No, but I've not ever created ads. Again, it's not my thing. However, I totally understand that Facebook obviously wants to create data and metrics for you to be able to, market your business or market your product or service. Again, I'm thinking, in my field of corporate learning, there are, people within our learning and development field who would love to have data. They want to know, where people are clicking on, where, what courses are the most popular, why they're popular, who's engaging in those online courses. And so, sorry, I can't provide any information on that, but I could say for business though, any platform that has a level of sophistication around capturing data about how the users are interacting or engaging with the platform is a good one. In the corporate world, though, I think we're still, especially when it comes to enterprise social networks, people are still, they're still measuring in terms of likes, replies, how much time people have spent on the platform. But I think the missing piece in organisations are, what do people actually do with it? How do they perform in their job? Has it actually helped them? How has connecting with someone from another part of the business actually streamlined a process, saved some money? So the real metrics is never measured, and that's the stuff that should be more interesting to businesses. The fact of making real long-term behavior changes or business changes, not just measuring how many people liked a post or, whether someone's has 1,000 followers. It's kind of like meaningless data. It's kind of, we have to know, well, what did they actually achieve or do or perform out of this interaction or this engagement?
I agree. And I think the other part of the battle with all of the information that we're getting back in analytics is, and I'm pro analytics, don't get me wrong, but I think there has to be context for them, and there also has to be, especially when it comes to social media, and I know businesses, they've got quarters, they've got month, they got bills to pay, all the rest of it, and if something doesn't work on social media within a certain amount of time, then it's a failure and they're gone.
That's right. That's right.
But I think it's a longer game, and I think analytics can help make that game faster and better. And I'm all for any way you can know more about potential customers sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to guess Christian has very little to say about this. Christian, he doesn't have anything to say.
That's a good one.
Apple is making it possible for you to talk to a business in iMessage with the new iOS 11 that's coming out soonish, right? In the fall. What it does is, with Business Chat, your customers can connect with you, have personalized conversations, and make purchases with Apple Pay. The iPhone maker originally teased the Business Chat was coming earlier this week, but shared more about how the feature works during a presentation at the conference for developers on Friday. So the Business Chat for iMessages, according to this writer's take, is a direct shot at social apps that encourage people to use so-called chatbots like Facebook Messenger. And so I think that, again, I'm an Apple fan, but I'm also, they have like a couple $100 billion in cash laying around. No one does. No one has that. So to have that in play and to have the number of users in play, I can see, again, the writer's got to say it. It's literally Apple is going after Facebook. That is the headline, by letting people talk to businesses in iMessage. So I don't, I think for the people who are already, because I know some people like live in Messenger and they use it to text, they use it for everything. I don't know for the people who are using iMessage regular texting. It's an option. I think it's a good one. More options are always better. But again, if for the customers who don't, because a lot of people hate Messenger, and understandably so, because it takes a lot of information. So I think that it's a good thing. I think couching it as them going after Facebook. They're still not a social media company. Apple is still not a social media company, and that is not their game. So I think it's a good thing for businesses. It's another tier, and with all a lot of bot talk today, it's another way to automate conversation. And some conversation can be automated, but it's. And it's all. Oh, and this is the other thing that you'll be able to start a support chat through this and find other businesses through Siri Maps, Safari, and Spotlight search. Customers can ask questions, schedule appointments, make purchases, and more by talking directly to businesses in the Messages app, according to Apple. All purchases, though, are handled through Apple Pay. So, again, I think it's got some good things. It's really about the behavior, I think, if you have customers who are in iMessage and you think that's going to be a good place to talk to them, I say definitely look at this. But to me, it just kind of seems like another option for businesses. I don't think it's a Facebook killer, my Facebook Messenger killer. I just think it's another way for businesses to be able to talk to their customers, and a lot of people have iPhones.
Well, so if you actually look at this, it's actually a play.
I would believe the same thing. In my past, I've worked with various corporates, and they're all looking at, apps and chatbots and automating a lot of the procedural type work where you would normally call into a contact center and get some basic information. If they can automate it through a chatbot like this, they're using it. So now, with regards to Facebook Messenger, look, I don't know the Australian figures of how people are using Facebook, whether they're buying stuff in there. I just simply don't know. I do know that Facebook is everything to everyone. It's just so massive, and I think it comes across as if it's kind of like it's so central to our lives that we would be doing everything in it. I think we're just going to see more and more of this stuff. A lot of businesses trying to vie for our attention, all across different platforms, whatever we're using. I think, I don't know, when I look at this, again, that's from a marketing, they're pushing products and services. In my context, I'm thinking, how could I use this for learning? Something like this could easily have applications for pushing out bits of learning content out to you in a customized format. Unless you don't, if you're not worried about speaking to a chatbot, if I could say, hey Apple or whatever they're called, hey Siri, tell me about, I have no idea what blockchain is. What's the best, give me an article that I could read that tells me what blockchain is, and it just pops out with an article that I could read in real time, or send me a link of a blockchain expert I could ask a question to, or whatever. So I could see applications for pushing content in a learning or educational context, but I think we're just going to get used to seeing this stuff. I haven't bought anything off Messenger or off Apple, but I have used the chatbots to get information. I still prefer, I guess, buying stuff the old-fashioned way in some instances.
Very cool. Christian, do you have a take?
So overall, I think that what's going to happen with this is Apple is trying to play the whole. They're trying to play the whole.
Saying that they can hear him on Facebook, but I don't see anybody on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Who's watching right now? If you're watching on Facebook and you can hear me, type "I can hear you, Joe" in the comments. That would be fantastic. Christian, we cannot hear you at all. So I'm going to go on to the...
Joe, you might need to use the bigger ear, so move your head.
Okay, he says he's dealing with a... okay. Oh, I can't hear him at all. So, Nick's saying they can hear him. Come in, Christian. Come in, Christian.
I'm here. Yep, I'm here.
I heard a half a syllable.
I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay. Just keep going.
Hear you, Christian. I guess I'm going to let you talk and...
Okay. So,
I don't know what you said.
What I was actually...
I'm frozen now. Hopefully you can still hear me.
What I was actually getting at was that with the Apple ecosystem, I think what Apple is doing is they're pushing people towards staying on the device, using their apps, or if they don't have an app, building an app, because it's a seamless transaction. Somebody has a conversation, and then they can go check out a business's app to complete something.
That he can hear it. That he can hear Christian, but we can't.
Okay. Isn't technology amazing? We've just got all these screens and apps and tools, and everything's kind of open, and we're all talking to each other, and behind the scenes. It's fascinating.
No, I agree. So, Christian, sorry if we're interrupting you while you're talking, but we can't hear, so I don't know when to start talking. I'm going to go on to the tools and very quickly understand them. There's one other story. Facebook has added a new feature to groups for linking to relevant groups. So if you have any Facebook groups, again, I don't know much about the feature as a new thing, but I don't know if now I'm trying to read a paragraph while I'm talking. Both to take in the information, understand it, and act while talking.
You're doing well, Joe. You're doing well.
The key thing about this is Christian State. The key thing about the topics is we aim. Oh, never mind. We're gonna produce while the show's live. So we're gonna jump to the tools now. There is one. What is it called? Oh, called Tweetdraw, formerly Tweetdraw.com, that allows you to draw random Twitter followers and. Oh, okay, good. All right, Nick's saying to wrap it up. This has been Social Chefs. I would like to thank Helen for both taking on so much. I mean, that's a tremendous amount of information to take on. And chat about it. I wish that everything worked, but apparently it's not working over on the Facebook end. Got some cool tools for you, but we will... I guess they'll catch up onto them next week. Helen, where can people find you on the internets?
On the internets, I use Twitter a lot, so my Twitter handle is @ActivateLearn or www.activatelearning.com.au. Thank you, Joel. I really appreciate it. It's been fun.
Thank you, Helen. Yeah, this is the first time we've known each other for a long time, but haven't ever hung out. So very cool.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you.
Great.
And thanks Christian.
Thanks, Christian.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
We will talk to you on iMessage, and thanks for everyone who may still be listening. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.